I know the lights.
Yes.
That's funny.
Oh, it's 7 p.m. here in Ventnor City, New Jersey, and it's Saturday night with CarEdge and your hosts, Zach and Ray, for, well, Saturday, July 29th. Was that one of the two T-shirts you wrote?
Come on, man. Don't go there tonight. Here's the deal, folks. We're going to be talking about it. Dealers can't sell cars, banks getting nervous, floor plan costs. That's what we're going to kick tonight's show off with. Let's jump right into the data, and then we'll go from there. For tonight's, to kick things off, we're going to start with Penske Automotive, a dealer group that you actually used to work for, Dad, way back when you used to manage Acura dealerships over at Penske. And we're going to talk about some stuff that's kind of in the nitty-gritty, but very important to comprehend if you're in the market to buy a car or if you're just interested in this type of stuff.
Yes.
Penske Auto floor plan interest expense jumps 242% year over year. Retailer had $3.2 billion in floor plan outstandings. Pops, can you explain to all of us non-car people, what is floor plan and why would Penske have $3.2 billion in floor plan outstanding? I'm going to close your blinds because I don't like looking at these little bug eyes in the. So anyway, explain floor plan.
It's an alien trying to get it. Okay, floor plan is basically like a credit card for dealers to use to buy their inventory, and much like a credit card, you can make minimum payments or you can pay it off at the end of every month. Well, dealerships, they don't have the money to just pay everything off at the end of the month. So why would Penske have $3.2 billion in floor plan?
You're skipping over one piece. It's a credit card used to pay for cars.
That's what I said.
Oh, okay. I was closing the blinds.
You were busy closing the blinds when I said it's basically a credit card, similar to a credit card, but you use it to buy cars only. That's how the dealership acquires their inventory. It's a line of credit used just for acquiring inventory, and you pay a per diem, a daily interest charge. And so why does Penske have $3.2 billion in inventory that's floor plan? Because they have a lot of cars, and the bulk of the cars they sell are luxury cars.
And take out luxury for a moment because it's not just Penske, Dad. We're going to jump over and we'll look at Group 1, and we're going to talk about the magnitudes of scale of this and why you need to be concerned about it as an individual out there.
But before you get there, you know what I thought was interesting? They've got $3.2 billion in floor plan credit from banks.
Yep.
And in the quarter, they paid $30.8 million for the privilege of being able to finance
$3.2
billion worth of inventory. And
Are you suggesting they get better interest rates than us lay people?
Well, I'm suggesting that they still get a fairly decent rate. But having said that, if the rate is double what it was a year ago or 2 years ago,
and it's more than double, obviously, because their floor plan cost is up, what was it,
42%. But 2 years ago they didn't have as many cars in inventory as they have now. But 3 years ago, pre-pandemic, they might have had the same $3.2 billion worth of inventory, but their floor plan expense might have been $15 million.
Yep.
As opposed to $30 million. That's the difference.
And it's a huge difference.
Oh, absolutely.
Group 1, Dad, one of the other large dealer groups in the United States, their floor plan interest expense only up 164%.
Oh, okay.
Year over year. So you have these dealer groups, Dad, spending more and more money financing their inventory. So I wanted to do an example here. Just the other day, and this video will be out on Monday, just the other day, we were at our local Mercedes-Benz dealership, not looking to buy any cars, folks, not in the slightest, to understand and look at their inventory. I have, Dad, we were, for, I guess, one of the shows over on the Ray and Zach channel, we were doing some searching in, oh my gosh, we got to update our algorithm. Mario, Space, if you're in the chat, can we please update the fair price algorithm for Mercedes-Benz EQSs, unless they actually are selling at MSRP. I can't imagine they are. We were testing stuff just the other day in Colorado.
Yes.
In Colorado, Dad, I found a Mercedes-Benz dealer that has a vehicle that's a $165,000 vehicle, and I wanted to do an example as a group about why floor plan expense means so much. Here's a per diem interest calculator. Let's say the loan amount is $20,000 less because the dealer's not financing MSRP. Why would the dealer pay,
Well,
finance MSRP?
I'm assuming that there's some margin built into the cars
I
for
imagine
Mercedes-Benz.
I imagine on a $165,000 Mercedes-Benz AMG, I'm guessing there's
If it's
$20,000.
if it's 10%, it's $16,000
Exactly.
right there. So yeah.
So I put the loan amount at $145,000.
Yes.
Imagine an interest rate of 5%, which would be great. Igor, you're in the chat. Igor, please tell me, is 5% a reasonable APR or an interest rate for a floor plan right now? And then I had the vehicle sitting for 30 days. Well, that's $600 in cost for that dealer to sit on that vehicle. $600 just to have it sit there. So then you jump back, Dad. This dealer's been sitting on this one for 175 days.
That's 6 months. What's 6 times 6?
$3,600.
That's what it's cost them to have it, or something like that.
And and to be clear, we're using the most hyperbolic example.
Yes.
A $165,000 Mercedes-Benz EV that's been sitting around for 6 months. You could do the same exact example on a Chevy Trax that's been sitting around but is only worth $25,000 or $20,000, and the magnitudes of scale will be smaller. But this is the underlying component to this market right now that not enough people are talking about. Dealers can't sell these overpriced cars. We've been talking about that ad nauseam.
Yeah.
Banks are starting to get a bit upset because if I can't sell the car, I gotta. Oh, thank you, Igor. Here we go in the chat. Yes, 5% right now for floor plan is a great rate. I would take it now with my eyes closed. So it could be even more than 5%. So what we're looking at, Dad, is an environment where banks are looking at dealers sitting on these cars, making their payments, their monthly payments, or however their contracts are signed up, monthly, bi-weekly, every other month, whatever it is. But eventually you got to move the metal because you can't just take $600 in loss month after month.
Here's why you have to move the metal. Okay. Let's say after 175 days, they're a little concerned that it's just sitting. And so
there's an 810-day supply.
Let me finish. And so they say to themselves, maybe we should mark this down. Let's mark it down to $149,995. Call it $150. Okay. And let's say they sell it at $150. And let's say at $150, there was $2,000 or $3,000. Let's call it $3,000 of profit still in the car. Okay. Selling it at $150,000. It cost them $3,600 to sit on that car to sell it to make $3,000. Did they really make a profit?
Yeah.
Okay. Are they having to pay a salesperson a commission on that? Are they paying their sales managers because that represents $3,000 worth of gross profit and management gets paid off of gross profit unless they're a GM where you probably get paid off of net profit. But the reality is that even though it looks like on paper they made $3,000, they really lost $600. Okay, or more with the added expense of the commissions and everything else that they have to pay on it. That's a big deal.
It's a huge deal, Dad.
Yes.
It's a huge deal. All right, let's jump to the chat here for a quick second, and then we will come back and continue the conversation around floor plan. There was a thoughtful contribution that came in before tonight's show even started. One of our community members, Alaska Sound Guy. Yes, super stickers get dance moves.
Well, I wouldn't call that a dance move. Super stickers get like
shimmy shakes
from the old guy.
Thank you, Alex. We appreciate your contribution.
The young guy that actually might be limber enough to do that and actually dances
has been known to have taken 1 or 2 dance lessons.
Yes.
Taker 610, thank you for the contribution. Would you guys recommend leasing an Aria right now? I'm considering it, given EV tech will likely be much different in 3 years. Dealer has 81. I know nothing about Aria lease programs. I know absolutely nothing about Aria lease programs.
I know nothing about them, but if you were to consider it, make sure that they are passing through, if that vehicle qualifies for the $7,500 federal tax credit,
which it should,
which I know there's a workaround for the vehicles that normally wouldn't, but if you lease them, they do, or they can. Make sure that the leasing company is passing that tax credit on to you and it's reflected in the lowering of your monthly payment because of that tax credit.
Yep, absolutely, absolutely.
And then maybe while we're continuing the chat here, our main man Mario.
I don't know if Mario's in the chat tonight.
I don't know if he is or he isn't, but if he is, knowing him, he'll look some stuff up and post it in the chat.
All right. So again, the recurring theme here is we have on the dealer side. We're not even starting tonight's show with like the consumer take. We're starting with the dealer take.
Yes.
They have inventory, and I didn't even realize how insane the example is that I queued up. They have inventory like this $165,000 Mercedes-Benz EQS AMG EQS 53 four-wheel drive.
Yes.
They've been sitting on for 175 days.
Yes.
810 market days supply because there's 18 for sale and 1 sold in the last 45 days. And they are paying a larger and larger share of interest on that, as broken down by our favorite calculator over here. Now, Deb, when you think about the consumer side, the storyline over on the consumer side is more along the lines of this headline. Fed raises interest rate to 22-year high, leaves door open for more. This marks the 11th rate increase since March 2022. On the consumer side, Dad, let's say I was actually interested in following some of our advice. Maybe I've gone to caredge.com/deal school. I've taken deal school, or I'm using all the data to go negotiate. On the consumer side, I walk into the dealership, I negotiate a great deal, but then they hit me with, I don't know, 9% APR or 13 on a used car.
Yeah.
So you have a bit of a
we
got thunderstorms coming, folks.
Yeah.
You've got a little bit of a conundrum here, Dad. It's like a who's going to move first?
Yeah.
Because essentially the dealer has to drop prices, but the customer comes in and looks at the monthly payment because of the interest rate.
We're freezing. We apologize.
The customer comes in.
Yes.
Right. And they look at the interest rate and they say, no, I'm good. Who's going to blink first?
Well, I hope it's the customers that blink first and they walk out. But the truth of the matter is you need to have a relationship with a credit union. Credit unions tend to have lower rates than the big banks in this country. Now, you might be able to take advantage of some factory sponsored incentivized interest rates through their captive lenders.
That's where a lot
that are below market interest rates that you could pay on a loan. But if that's not the case, then the average new car loan today is over 7%.
So let's go back to who's going to blink first. Truly, let's go back to who's going to blink first. If I am the auto, because there's a couple parts. There's the automaker, the dealer, the bank, the consumer.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm the automaker, what I've done, Dad, and let's do an example of this all together. If I'm the automaker, what have I done? Let's look at General Motors as an example. As an automaker, now you know what? We're going to go to Stellantis. Stellantis is where we're going to go because they're the easiest to pick on. If I'm Stellantis, what have I done? Well, let me check. What was my average transaction price in the most recent quarter? It was $55,210.
Yes.
Up another 5%, or excuse me, $57,210, up another 5%. So if I'm the automaker, what have I done? I've increased the prices of my vehicles significantly. This chart on the screen, guys, shows you. Look at the top line. That's Ram. Ram used to be on parity with Alfa freaking Romeo in terms of price point. Romeo. Yeah. And it's gone bonkers.
And I didn't know freaking was the middle name of Alfa
So if
Romeo.
I'm the automaker, what have I done? I'm at the tip of the spear. As the automaker, what have I done? I've jacked the prices of my cars up like crazy. And again, the question I have for you at the end of all this is who blinks first? And then I sent a ton of inventory to my dealers. So we're saying a Ram truck has seen a price increase from about, I don't know, $48,000 in 2018 to north of $66,000 right about now.
Looks about like 67, 68,000.
So let's go back. Let's continue with the experiment. So the automaker has decided I'm going to raise my prices like crazy.
Yes.
So now let's do a Ram 1500 pickup truck. Let me get rid of this filter. A Ram 1500 pickup truck. Okay, here's a perfect example.
Yeah.
Like what a Bighorn. So we're not even looking at the TRX. I got a $99,000 selling price on this son of a gun.
Yeah.
And A 299-day supply.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah.
so the automaker at the tip of the spear, Dad. Again, who's gonna blink is my question. The automaker at the tip of the spear jacked their prices up like crazy.
Yes.
The dealer
Yeah.
has been unwilling to actually offload the inventory because it's been sitting around. In this case, what was this vehicle sitting around for? 91 days, so not
Okay.
even that long.
Yeah,
And then
long
the
enough.
banks
Yes.
are raising the actual daily interest rate on
Yes.
these vehicles. So if I'm that Ram dealer, let's say it cost me $85,000 in floor plan, and I've been holding on to it, we'll stick it with the 30 days. Every single month, I'm paying $350 for that car to sit
So
on
that's
my lot.
$1,050 that they've invested so far.
And then as a customer, I walk in there and I say, you know what? My Ram 1500 I bought 5 years ago only cost, I don't know, $50,000. Now you want me to pay $95,000. And what's the interest rate? Oh, it's 7%. Who's going to blink first? Is the automaker going to lower the price?
Well,
Is the dealer going to take the loss? Or are the banks going to go back to making riskier loans to sell cars?
Well, the banks aren't going to go back to making riskier loans to sell cars just yet. I'm not saying that they won't eventually, but I think it's in their best interest at the present time not to, because, well, there's probably a certain amount of scrutiny from federal regulators at the moment. So who's going to blink first? The manufacturer is thrilled. They are thrilled because when they wholesale the car to the dealer, they've made their money. Now, the dealer's not thrilled because, well, as we just saw, it's costing that dealer so far close to $1,000 to have that vehicle sit on the lot. Okay. The customer doesn't want to buy it because, well, they can't afford that payment.
Yeah.
So what will Stellantis do? They will put some incentives on that vehicle. Now, will they stop making that vehicle? Will they start producing more lower content vehicles, lower priced entry level vehicles? Perhaps, but only a little.
Yeah.
They have made so much money wholesaling that vehicle to their dealer that they can effectively that was Big Thunder, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, I think so.
I think it was right here. That they can effectively afford to eat, I don't know, $4,000, $5,000, $6,000, and they're still extremely profitable.
Ridiculously profitable.
So how do they eat that $4,000, $5,000, $6,000, whatever that number may be? Subvented interest rates to make the payment more palatable for the customer.
So you're going with, I just want to be very clear. I want
Yeah.
to be explicit about it. You're saying the automaker is going to be the one that blinks first.
Well, I'm saying the automaker because they have artificially increased their profit levels because of the type of vehicles that they're producing are the ones that are in a position to be able to incentivize the vehicles to get between the dealers and the customers to be able to get them to say yes.
Yeah, look what Igor says right here. Automakers will go first with higher incentives and rebates. The dealer will go next because the banks aren't advancing the money on loans and customers have no down payments and are upside down.
Yes.
I generally think Igor's spot on.
Oh,
you agree? I'm going to open this back up so we can watch the lightning show together.
It's always worked that way. It's always worked that way. The dealers, the manufacturers load you up with inventory, and then their response to help move that inventory is to incentivize it. And in the past, incentives accounted for 9, 10, 11% of the transaction price were incentives. Well, for the past several years, the incentive spend's been between 2 and 4%. The wholesale profit that the manufacturer is making is sky high because it's these high cost, high content vehicles that they're wholesaling to. They're making a killing on those vehicles, so they can effectively afford to eat a tad bit more of it than the dealer can or the customer can. And we've seen it in the quarterly reports that even though sales are up somewhat,
yep,
and they're up primarily due to fleet sales and commercial sales, not necessarily retail sales, the manufacturer's profits have skyrocketed from what they had been. And that's because they're producing higher profit margin vehicles that their dealers have to buy because it's
Is
the only
this-
place they get their inventory.
All right, so we'll continue to say the longer you can wait, the more likely we're going to see better and better manufacturer incentives and discounts. I should mention, so I'm gonna do the first example of this tonight on those Ram trucks like we were just talking about. To your point, Dad,
Yeah.
2, 3, 4% of MSRP as an incentive. Well, no, not at Ram. 10% off of MSRP from the manufacturer. Plus, you should be able to negotiate another 10% off from the dealer. But that's just one example. We need to see other automakers blink as we've been talking about it.
And they will. They will. You know, there's only so much they can load their dealers up with before the dealers start saying, no, I think I'll turn down part of my allocation.
So let's talk about that a little bit.
Yes.
Dealers. So the theme for tonight for customers is going to be, if you can continue to wait, you should be able to see more negotiability and also better incentives on new vehicles. The flip side of that is your trade-in continues to go down in value day in and day out. But let's talk for a moment. You ran dealerships for a long time, and you never worked on the OEM side. You never worked for Ford. You never worked for General Motors. You never worked for Honda.
You know, it was hard to think that I worked with them when they were the manufacturers that I represented.
So let's talk about that.
Yes.
What is going to be the outcome of this at some of these dealerships, Dad, where these groups are overwhelmed in inventory right now? Well, you're talking about that. I'm going to find some more examples on the car search because dealers have too much inventory.
I will suggest to you that there was a comment on the video today about, you know, the excess amount of EVs that are out there at the moment. And one of the comments was, well, maybe the dealers are raising the prices and not selling the vehicles because they want to say in a way to the manufacturer, we don't want to sell your EVs. My response to that was, no, I don't really think that's the case because it's costing the dealer to have the car there. What the dealer can do, okay, if they want to take a stand, is they can turn down their EV allocation.
Dad, Volkswagen ID4, Colorado, 31 currently for sale. Only one is sold in the last 45 days.
Okay, well, so maybe nobody wants them. So
maybe, obviously, holy hell.
Yeah, it sounds like the old Acura RL. They didn't sell. You could have one, and you could have a 1,300 day supply. Wow. So the dealers could say, "Time out. I'm not taking any more EVs." And you think that gets a point across to the manufacturer until the manufacturer says, "Great. Suddenly we don't have that many ICE vehicles that we can allocate to you moving forward." So even though manufacturers are not supposed to ever hold allocations hostage to get you to do what it is they want you to do, manufacturers hold allocations hostage to get you to do what they want you to do. So it's like this game of chicken. It's the perfect example of a partnership that is not really a partnership.
Do you think you're going to see more contentious debates between dealers and OEMs? OEMs, remember, a couple of years ago, dealers were making a bunch of profit. They're still making a decent amount of money, but it was way more than normal over the past couple of years. And dealers were coming out, OEMs were coming out. I'm thinking Ford, saying, "Hey, you know what? We kind of want to go a little bit away from the dealership model.
Yeah,
we want to push away from that."
Yeah,
and now dealers are going to be looking back at them saying, "Don't send us another Mach-E, gang. Like, I'm not taking your next Mach-E." Are we going to start to see the butting of the heads of the dealer groups and the OEMs? And then ultimately the winner there, if there is a big fight between the two, should be us as customers. Because ultimately prices will have to go down to move these things.
Well, ultimately something's going to have to happen. I found a parking lot behind a dealership today with about 200 white Ram 1500s parked. Oh, that might be for a commercial fleet. 1,500 white ones.
200 1500s.
Oh, 200 1500s. Yeah, that could be. Maybe that's the states. You never know. I mean, who the hell's going to order 200 white ones?
Probably not that dealer, but the OEM shipped it to him.
No, it doesn't work because you can turn down parts of your allocation.
Without getting into specifics, I was talking with a group.
Yes.
And they did a dealer trade, Dad.
Yes.
This was a CDJR dealership.
Yeah.
They did a dealer trade with another dealership, and that other dealership in the Midwest, and this dealership's not in the Midwest, That other dealership needed to get rid of 100 electric Jeeps because
Okay.
because
they wouldn't sell.
they can't sell them. They can't sell them
Yeah.
for 100 ICE ones, internal combustion engine
Yes.
ones. And this dealer in the Midwest, Dad, paid for all the shipping, paid for all the freight, paid for everything just to move that metal, just to get off of those 100.
Yeah, and what did
So
they
if-
get in return? They
100
got
ICE vehicles,
okay.
100 internal combustion.
So
But they had to eat all of it, all the costs.
that's fine.
That's desperation.
But they're going to turn around and be able to sell them and get money back for them and perhaps make a profit on them. And if they can't make a profit on the retail side of things, perhaps the finance department can make them some money. But if they know that they can't sell the electric ones, what's the point of sitting on that?
My point being the OEMs are sending all sorts of cars that are not currently selling, including potentially 200 white Ram 1500s in Brandon's backyard, to them. And they're sitting on parking lots right now, Dad.
Yeah.
You see it. You see it. I drove past our, some of the dealerships today. Even the Hyundai dealership has more inventory sitting there. The Subaru dealership had less.
Yeah.
But you're seeing it build back up.
I'm not disputing that.
You're going to see this big, fight, I think, between the OEM and the dealers.
There's always been a big fight between the OEM and the dealers. A franchise dealer is an independent business. Okay, they depend on the manufacturer to provide them with their inventory, and that is part of the franchised agreement. And part of the franchised agreement is that they can't use their inventory as a cudgel against the dealer. Because I remember when I was at the Acura dealership in North Scottsdale, and they wanted to load us up with even more TLs when TLs were just sitting. And I turned to my general manager and I said, "How's that benefit us?" She said, "Well, it keeps the factory happy." I said, "Okay, so at the end of the year, when we're in the red, are they going to stroke us a check to make us whole?" And the answer to that question was no. So then how's that fair? How's that fair to the dealership? If you want to work together, but trust me, many of the manufacturers are only concerned with what's good for them.
Yeah.
And they all preach, they're like partners to us. The dealerships are not like partners to them. They're not fronting them the money. They're not, they're not making them whole at the end of the year. And I'm sure Igor, has tales of woe from having to deal with some of these manufacturers. It's not a partnership. It's a business relationship, but it's far from a partnership.
Let's go to the chat, Dad, and then we're going to switch gears just a little bit. We had a thoughtful contribution from Bronco Country.
Thank you, Bronco Country.
Thank you. It helps to love a car that no one else loves. This week, I leased a 2024 Subaru Legacy with a purchase price at invoice and a money factor equal to 3.8% in Colorado, no less. Thanks for all. That is.
Do you remember when we were at the Subaru dealer and
didn't you almost work there?
No, not at that. No. I helped my buddy Lee get a car there.
Oh.
Okay, but we were at the dealer and we were sitting behind a Legacy. And I said, one of the greatest values in America that nobody knows about is the Subaru Legacy. It's for a mid-size sedan. It is really roomy. It's really pretty well equipped. And and nobody buys them, so you can get deals on them. So yes, it helps to love a car that nobody else wants.
We will be, just so everyone knows, we will be at the CarEdge sales event, caredge.com/event.
2 weeks from today.
Holy cow, it's 2 weeks away. We are doing Subarus. There are Subarus at the sales event. If you have not put your name in, your email in, pricing will be dropping on, I don't know, like Tuesday.
The 1st.
Yeah, Tuesday the 1st. Pricing will be up on the dealer website on Monday. We pre-negotiated Legacies. I think let me double check. I forget how much I don't have the tab.
Don't worry about it.
No, I will worry about it.
Okay.
We pre-negotiated off on the Legacies 5% off of MSRP. 5% off of MSRP plus everything else.
Plus any factory incentive that's meant for the customer.
So let that sink in for a moment. Like, you can get good deals out there.
Yes.
You just have to know what inventory to look at. Dad, let's keep going through the chat here. A couple questions from Leslie saying the Honda finance guy told me that the money factor was set and couldn't be negotiated. That's wrong.
Well, the buy rate is set.
But most money factors are marked up.
Yeah, the money factors on a lease can be marked up. So, that was stretching the truth.
Here we go from Kyle. Dad requested an out-the-door price. Dealer price on a used Tacoma refused to disclose the info, claimed new tires, brakes, oil, detailing, etc. Requested a breakdown. They refused. I was told, quote, trust us. Is that a red flag?
Oh, you betcha. Yeah. Many dealerships over the course of their business lifetime have proven conclusively that one cannot trust them. So when they just say, trust us, what was Ronald Reagan's saying? Trust but verify.
Yeah.
Okay. Trust but verify. Hey, I trust you. Prove it to me.
Over on the community forum, we have a dealer tags space where you can post instances where dealers may be doing things that are potentially, some might say, misleading. So Mike shared one earlier, and this is going to tie in with why you should trust but verify.
Yes.
Chevrolet of Wayzata, this is in Minnesota, went to the dealership to purchase a Chevy Colorado, and they tried to add on $1,500 worth of glass coating and tinting, claiming, quote, we do this to every vehicle we get. Curious that this markup wasn't in the online listed price.
Yeah.
This is why you ask for an out-the-door worksheet.
Yes.
Because again, this is a used one, right? 2019 with 38,488 miles on it. And look at what happens when you ask for the out-the-door price. Well, the selling price is over here.
Yeah.
And then there you go. There's your add-ons.
Yes.
$899 for Diamond, not Diamond. Diamond Fusion. Diamond Fusion.
Yeah.
$600 for tint, which is one of the higher.
Yes.
And then the dealership's obviously going to try and sell you a $3,250 service agreement, which is your quote unquote extended warranty, and $1,000 for gap insurance. This is the trust but verify. You can see the online price. You've told me this so many times that at the dealership, they want to get people in because they feel like if they get them in, if they can get them to show, if you can get a lead to show, then you got a better chance to close.
Oh, absolutely.
That's why they're just trying to not give you actual price.
And even though you might complain to them, go, oh my God, look what you're doing. And you know what they're going to say? We're not going to do to you as bad as that next dealership will. They're even worse than we are. Trust me.
It's pretty remarkable, though.
It is. The whole concept is built on deception and fraud.
No, go back to this. So the advertised price for this vehicle that our community
which you can't buy it for.
Which you can't buy it for. It was $31,399.
Yeah.
Your out the door price was $36,151, and then they want to sell you this stuff as well, which is another $4,100.
I was talking to a dear friend of ours who
look how many line items there are.
Part of it's state stuff. But I was talking to a dear friend of ours who happens to be a Mercedes-Benz salesman. And he was relating a story to me about a truck that he wanted to get. And it was a truck that wasn't even at the dealership. So, Glenn asked, can you give me a breakdown of everything? And there was all these aftermarket items that the dealer installs. And Glenn said, well, the truck's not even there yet. And the guy said, we add it to every truck. He says, but you haven't added it to this one. It's not there yet. He said, I can't sell it to you without it. It's you can. You've just made a choice not to.
Yeah.
Okay. So when a manager or a salesperson says, oh, well, this goes on every car. Well, it goes on every car because you decided it goes on every car. It doesn't have to go on an incoming car.
Yep.
It's not already on the incoming car. It's a conscious decision that you're making at the dealership level to force that crap on your customer, whether he wants it or not. And I'm sorry, that's wrong. It's just wrong.
See, this is one of your friends that works in the industry, trying to buy his own car, dealing with his own. Yeah.
Yes.
All right, Dad, let's keep going through the chat here. There's so many good comments.
Which only proves that car people don't care. It could be their mother. And they go, I'm sorry, Mom. It just, when they're going to do it, you have to take that. My hands are My hands are tied.
I know a lot of you might think my dad's like over the top with stuff, and I know a lot of you think I definitely am over the top. I've had more conversations with dealers now than ever before because we're doing this for a sales event. And they're like, wait, how do we get to do a sales event with CarEdge? I'm like, no, not so fast.
Yeah.
And as I'm talking to more dealers, Dad, the number of owners, not
Yeah.
general managers or things, owners who have said to me, I don't even let my friends work with, like, they literally say it to me. They're like, if I have a friend that wants to buy a car, they don't work with the staff.
No.
They come to me.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't want them to go. I'm like,
yeah. You know,
come on, man.
No,
That's not a good look.
No, it's not. And you know, I've worked for people, and when they stop it, Brandon, and when they send people in, and the owner says to me, you know, take good care of them, and you know, I know the owner; he doesn't take care of anybody, but you know, because that's just not his style, you know. But you know, you know, if you say that to me, take good care of them. I'm taking good care of them. I might not be the owner, but I'm going to treat you the way an owner should treat you because you're the owner's friend. You know, you shouldn't pay.
You should treat everyone the same.
But let me finish. You shouldn't pay as much or more than anybody else simply because you're the owner's friend.
Let's go through the chat here, Dad. We had a contribution come in from Carson. Thank you for that, Carson. I had a 1998 Golf. Yeah. It came from a very unhappy factory money pit. Okay. I know nothing about the 98 Golf, so I was.
That makes two of us.
From Brandon over at Car Questions Answered. Thank you for the thoughtful contribution, Brandon. Go to do a CarEdge dealer day here in North Carolina, so you'll actually catch a flight to come see me. Here's some money so you don't go cheap on your pre-canceled flight. We have tried twice,
yes,
team, twice on Sundays
two
to fly
Sundays.
Down to Charlotte. Yeah, I can say Charlotte, North Carolina, to hang out with Brandon and Mrs. Car Questions Answered.
Yes,
2 weeks in a row.
Him,
2 weeks in a row.
Yes.
Both flights were canceled.
Yes.
So yeah, we'll get there. We'll get there eventually. We love all that you're doing over on your channel, Brandon. All right, let's keep going here, Pops. Okay. There was a couple great questions.
I'm not going anywhere. I'm here.
Rich is saying this. Honda and Toyota dealers must be upset. Zero inventory provided by the manufacturer. Can we talk about this a little bit?
Yeah.
What the hell is going on at some of the Asian automakers? Honda, Toyota. I mean, Hyundai, Kia have inventory building up a little bit.
Yeah.
But and Nissan is the exception to this. The Japanese automaker Nissan, they have a ton of inventory. There's 0% financing right now on Nissan Rogues, for example.
Yes.
But at Honda and Toyota, Dad, they have nothing. Like, I'll pull that example up on the screen.
Well, I know every time we drive past our Honda dealer, they got nothing there. They got, well, the only thing they have is a lot of asphalt with nothing covering.
So can we talk about that? Like, what's going on?
You know, obviously, Toyota and Honda misplayed their hands when it came to availability of chips, supply chain issues, all that. And they're trying to get caught up, and they haven't been able to, you know, and saying that, I believe Honda's sales are up like, I don't know, 30 or 40% year over year, because they have been able to get more inventory, but it's all pre-sold.
Look at this. I mean, again, we're in Colorado, but like, these cars aren't actually even there, most likely. I mean,
well, it says new.
But images come through. All right, so let's look. Let's see. This one supposedly has been on the market for 59 days.
Well, there's a picture of it.
You have this is Colorado for 2023 Honda CR-Vs. Our data's not broken, folks. Directionally, this is spot on. We were looking at Ram 1500s at 290 days in this area. We were looking at that Mercedes EQS that was 800 some odd days. We were looking at the Volkswagen ID4 that was 1300 days. Yeah. And then we're looking at a Honda CR-V and it's 3 days.
Yeah.
And then please watch our videos, because we go to the Honda dealer and there are no CR-Vs. We go to the Ram dealership, there are 1500. We go to the Mercedes dealership, there's too many EQSs. You could spin around and point. And what are they doing at Honda, Dad?
Scroll up. No. Scroll up. So this says that it's been on the market for 59 days. What that really tells me is they have been advertising that car since they knew it was allocated to them and it should be coming in. And that the car perhaps recently just got there. And if it isn't already sold, or if it wasn't already spoken for, it will be sold in a matter of days.
Absolutely.
You know, so oftentimes when we see vehicles and we see days on market, our days on market is based on when the dealer starts advertising it.
Dad, is this not a perfect example though? Like we
Oh,
do this
yes.
stuff live, like warts and all. Literally 4 that are currently for sale of this trim level.
Yes.
And 70 have sold in the last 45 days. Polar opposite of what we're looking at. So,
Yes.
so let's talk about what is the play. We were talking about earlier. If you didn't see this part of the show, it's maybe about 20 minutes ago. We were talking about who's going to blink first, who's going to lower prices, who's going to incentivize shopping.
Yes.
Because metal is starting to sit around and
Yes.
that costs money. And more money as interest rates go.
Obviously, it's not going to be your Honda dealer. It's not going to be your Toyota dealer.
Are we going to continue to look at 2 very different car markets? So if I'm a customer and I've always been a Toyota customer, am I now going to be going to that dealer and they're going to say, no, sorry, there's a $5,000 market adjustment. You negotiate, it's MSRP. And then you cross shop it with the relevant Ford product or the relevant General Motors product or the relevant Stellantis product. And now you're a Jeep deal or Jeep customer. Like, is that not, there's 2 different markets, I guess is the point I'm trying to make.
Well, there is.
And there's no sign it's going to change.
No, not anytime soon.
What's the win for Honda or Toyota there? Like, what's the point?
There isn't a win for them at the moment. They're struggling. I mean, even though their sales are up, they're struggling because they don't have the type of inventory levels that they want their dealers to have. And they know that they are losing some market share because of that. There's a reason your sister and brother-in-law drive a Mazda. It's because they couldn't get the Toyota RAV4 that they really wanted. But the Mazda was readily available. So there are brands that are stepping in to the breach and providing comparable vehicles for those customers.
Look at this, Dad. And then we've got some really thoughtful contributions that have come in from Christopher over on Facebook. Thanks for tuning in, Christopher.
Thank you.
I'm on a wait list for a Toyota Highlander hybrid at 2 dealerships. They both require a trade-in to be on the list. What is that about?
Well, that's about that they have really limited incoming new car availability. And so basically,
they're a used car dealer.
They're in the used car business. And it is cheaper for them to acquire a trade-in and require a trade-in to be able to purchase one of their cars than it is for them to go to the auction and overpay significantly for that same car. So that's why some dealers are doing that. Now, I don't know, maybe I'm stupid. Let's go with the premise that Ray's stupid. Okay. But in the world in which I live, if you're in the business of selling something, whatever that something may be, you make it available for sale. You don't care how it gets paid for.
No, I hear you.
Let me finish. You don't care how it gets paid for, and you don't require somebody to trade something in order to be able to buy it. You're in the business of selling.
I hear you, but I also think that the reality is dealerships need used cars to make money.
That.
No, hear me out.
Yes.
So as customers, as consumers, know that that's the leverage in your negotiation. My point is, if you're on a wait list for all these cars and they're requiring a trade, and that's great, do not just show up and the first number they give you is the number you're going to take. I popped the link in the chat. Go to CarEdge.com/sell. Get a bunch of offers and negotiate the highest value, because you're not wrong. You should, free market, you should be able to do it. But you know what? Dealers are going to do what they got to do.
Yeah.
And as customers, that means we got to do what we got to do, which is just, that's where your leverage is in that negotiation. Let's go here, Dad, to the chat from Marcos.
Yes.
Thank you for the contribution. Bought a used Prius last year. Tried to charge $3,000 for pre-installed wheel locks and paint protection for under the door handles. What a deal. That might be a record.
Yeah. That's
wheel locks, $100?
Yeah.
Paint protection. We're talking about the door edge guards.
Yeah, the door edge guards and the door handle cups, so that your fingernails don't scratch the paint under the door.
$100?
Yeah, they're the clear ones. You can hardly see them.
$3,000. Whoa, Marcos. Whoa.
Yeah, well, dealers are very creative and inventive.
From Robe, thank you for the contribution. Had a 2021 Kia K5 at under 20,000 miles that I love, but someone decided to run a red light. No.
Oh, sorry about that.
Now I have to buy another one at an increased rate compared to when I bought it in 2021. Unfortunately, yes. And my Instagram DMs, I'm on Instagram at Shefska, and we are at my CarEdge, that have been blown up with people who are getting, unfortunately, their vehicles were totaled, and the payments from the insurance company
Yes.
are really low. Like
Wow.
they are devastated by the payouts from their insurance companies because they're going off of book values,
I
wholesale
think
values.
I think I would fight with the insurance companies.
Isn't there, what's it called that you can claim for?
Diminished value.
Diminished value.
Yeah, but that's only on a car that they're repairing.
That they're repairing.
Not one that's totaled.
I'm telling you though, my Instagram
DMs
are
because the totaled one is totally diminished value.
Diminished value is to when there's an accident or something like that. Yeah.
Diminished value is that somebody hits your car and it gets damaged, and let's say it's a $30,000 car and it has $12,000 worth of damage, and it gets reported, and when you go to trade it in, the dealer goes, "Oh my God, look at this! I can just look at this car and I can. How bad was the accident? Oh, it was $12,000 repair." Well, a vehicle that had $12,000 in body damage isn't worth as much as the comparable vehicle that had never been in an accident. So the difference between what the vehicle that's never been in an accident and what the vehicle that has been, that's called diminished value. And a lot of insurance companies don't want to pay you diminished value because, well, it costs them more money.
Yeah.
And if they are forced to, one of the things that'll come from that will be the fact that, well, once again, insurance rates will go up because payouts are going up.
Yeah, we have seen insurance rates through the freaking roof. CarEdge.com/insurance. You can shop there. And again, it's just like negotiating anything. You gotta have leverage. Mike from earlier, Dad, wouldn't dealers like to special order for customers and then pay no floor plan costs? 100%.
Yes, they'd love that.
If you are a factory ordering a vehicle and you take delivery within, what is it, like 2 days, 3 days?
2-3 days.
The dealership doesn't pay any money.
It's extra profit.
Extra profit.
The floor plan assistance they get from the manufacturer is extra profit.
It's absolutely just extra profit.
Yeah.
All right, Dad. Wow. Here we go in the chat. Thank you from Honda Pro, for the contribution. Will CarEdge ever work in Canada? Yeah, it's an end of year objective. If we can get in Canada by end of year, we've already got a few car coaches lined up in Canada. I've had very great conversations with folks that help people buy cars, sell cars in Canada. So we've got some coaches lined up in Canada. We got to make sure the data works in Canada. So for example, when we pull up market days supply or days on market, how many have sold, we got to make sure that that's reliable in Canada, hopefully by the end of the year. And pops from Frank Moore, a thoughtful contribution there. Did Frank have a comment with that? Let me see. No comment from you, Frank, but we're happy to pull something up.
And we're more than happy to take your money.
Yeah.
And I mean that in a good way. I mean that in a nice way. We appreciate it. And if I'm not mistaken, Frank is the gentleman who we first made Deal School available to for his students.
Yes, if you work in the education space, we have CarEdge.com/Deal School. It is a curriculum on how to buy a car. If you work in the education, higher education, high school, anything like that, we are happy to give you and your students free access. Free access. I missed it. All right, Frank, well, email me. We'll make sure we get you all set up. All right, Pops, from here we go from Harold. How do you check how long a car has been on the market? Harold, just go use our car search, my.caredge.com or caredge.com. You can start there. I'll pull it up on the screen for you. It is right at the top of every single listing. One of my favorite things, Dad, you can actually, I don't know many car searches that are like this, but you can actually sort by days on market, and you can filter by days on market. Ooh. So if you want to look at only Volkswagen ID4s that have been on the market for over 190 days, of which there are plenty.
Yes. Can I say that as an ex-smoker, nobody loves a filter better than I did.
There you go, Pops. I don't like that one. Shannon, good to see you here with us. We always appreciate another great show. Had to inform my buds that I'd be a few minutes late to dinner. Got to do the CarEdge thing first. Not sure if they understand, but that's okay.
Oh, you know what? Take us with you. Go to the restaurant, pull it up on your mobile device, share it with them. Make it dessert.
Johnny says, your screen keeps freezing on and off. Maybe you need a reboot of the modem before starting live stream. Not sure if that would help or not. Yeah, we're trying a new internet, and obviously it's not working as well as we'd like it to. So,
I see that, and I want you to know I ordered new higher speed Ethernet cables.
Oh, nice.
That'll be here Wednesday.
And we can plug directly in.
Well, I don't know about that, but we can. One of the things we can do is the Verizon 5G home internet is they tell you to put it as close to the window or an outside wall as possible. Well,
We'll put it on the balcony.
Well, that would be outside the outside wall, but yeah, perhaps. But I can put it next to the sliding door.
Perfect.
But I need longer Ethernet cables to reach. So those will be here Wednesday.
CarEdge, Ray Shefska.
Look at me. Look at me. You know, I mean, I just started thinking what could possibly help it. You know, right now it's about 2.5, 3 feet, 4 feet from the wall. Well, there's a plug on that wall. What if I put it right next to the damn sliding door? Boom.
Taker, Volkswagen ID4, more like Volkswagen I don't know.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Al wants to know, when are we going to see a collab with CarEdge and the car questions answered dealership? You should open one. You definitely would be a big help for people. Maybe time to put all these contributions into that. We are going to hopefully sooner rather than later spend some time with Brandon at the Car Questions Answered dealership. In the meantime, we are hosting our first ever, it's like a meet and greet. We're doing a live stream day of, we got the pre-negotiated prices, caredge.com/event. Go check out the sales event that we're going to be hosting on August 12th. And I'm going to say August 11th as well, because we're already starting to get pretty backed up. All right, this comment has come through a bajillion times.
Yes.
Maya's Kerr. Jeep Grand Cherokee Limited L, a $59,000 SUV that was able to get a lease with 0 down for 36 months, 10,000 miles for $652 out the door. What do you guys think? Isn't there some rule of thumb for leases, Dad? You take like the MSRP and like a certain amount of it should be what your monthly payment is. There's like some back of the napkin math, things like that.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds, you know, without knowing the residual value and the money factor, it's hard to say. But, you know, in today's world, the $652 a month with 0 out of pocket for 12,000 miles a year sound like a reasonable amount of money for. Yeah, I'm afraid it probably does.
For those of you that are interested, we produce a lot of content, as I'm sure most of you know. Over on TikTok, I actually did. You were sitting behind the scenes while I was doing this. I actually did a breakdown recently. It's this one right here, this video, breaking down a lease. Watch this before you lease a car. This was a gentleman in our community who leased a vehicle and sent the lease contract afterwards asking like, hey, did I kind of get taken? And unfortunately, yeah, it wasn't a great deal. But that we break down a full lease contract. That's over on TikTok. Just search for Shefska. All these people saying $652 for a Jeep. Y'all haven't been out there getting like $652 for a Jeep is like low, relatively speaking, compared to all the other stuff that they have.
You know, we very well might end up back with Xfinity for cable and for internet in the future.
Are we going to stick on internet? Okay.
Well, I just wanted to say, you know, everybody says, well, you know, wired internet's better. Yes, I agree. The only problem.
Who said wired internet's better?
Oh my God, you don't read the comments. I read the comments. Okay, I get the comments. So anyway, the point is that the building that I live in is 50 years old. And so are the cables that run through the building. And in many cases, they're so degraded and degraded that even though you're supposed to get high speed, you don't. And I have the same buffering issues with anyway. So we don't know what we're going to do here. Sorry.
No, it's just like I don't see the comment and then you go on the internet. It's interesting. I find it from Objective 704.
Yeah.
Any plans for Spanish CarEdge? I want to refer you to my Spanish-speaking friends. We do not have a great lead on doing content in Spanish. That being said, we are working on this pretty diligently. And I want to just make you aware of this Objective 704 as with everyone else. Back at CarEdge.com, we offer different services. Yeah. Consultation phone calls are one of them. The other that is really important to understand is our coach product, which you sign up and you use it as long as you'd like, and you just have like essentially a professional car buyer in your back pocket.
Yes.
Now, the reason I bring that up right now, Dad, is because we have many bilingual Spanish-speaking car coaches on our team. Okay. Mm-hmm. So if you are English as a second language, or you know you don't feel confident in your English, what's going on here? This is a very wide button.
It's one of the widest.
One of the widest buttons I've seen in a while. I'll have to ask James about that. So we do have services for those who do not speak English, or for those who don't feel comfortable speaking English but speak multiple languages. So we do offer services there, and the community forum is very helpful for
Indeed.
Spanish speaking and English as a second language as well, but definitely not our area of expertise. All right, Dad. Any other tech? It looks like the sun's out. Wait a second.
Yeah, it is. Well, the storms passed. The storm, and now the sun's out. Either that or the world's on fire outside of my condo. We're about to find out, ladies and gentlemen. Look at that. The sun's out. Yes, we went from major thunderstorm warning to bright sunshine here in Ventnor, New Jersey. The joys of living at the Jersey seashore.
You good to answer a couple more questions?
Whatever you want to do.
All right. Yeah. Let's go here. Blah, 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 blah. Here we go. From Rochelle. Yes. Do you suggest a large down payment or pay extra one time applying the additional money to the principal with regards to paying off an auto loan?
But you have to make sure that the money goes to the principal. So you have to stipulate that when you make that payment.
If you pay extra on your auto loan?
But I would always suggest that a large down payment should be a prerequisite before you get into any loan. With the price of cars today, you don't want to find yourself in a negative equity situation. So I would suggest trying to put anywhere from 20 to 30% down or more if you can.
From Nicole, I'm looking to sell my vehicle. What is the best and safest sites to use? I've heard from you before that one called Cars and Bids. Are there any others you can suggest? So if you're going to sell private party, obviously you can do the Facebook, Craigslist, things like that. Cars and Bids and Bring a Trailer, those are more for specialty vehicles. Yes. And if you're going to sell your vehicle back to like a dealer, like thinking about doing a trade-in, that's obviously an option, but you need to know how to negotiate that. And you should also understand the sales tax basis benefit. If you Google search CarEdge trade-in, we have a guide that explains all of that. We have back on our website our partnership with CarWiser. You can get multiple offers for your vehicle. Just enter all the information in one place, and then dealers in your area will bid to purchase that vehicle from you. So you have some options on the selling front.
Yes.
All right, let's see here. We've got from Jimmy. Seems like things are heating up. Advisable to wait through another year before making a buying decision. If you can wait, we're huge proponents of never actually buying anything.
For sure.
I mean, that's my stance on it.
When was the last time you owned a car?
Yeah, exactly. I'm not planning on buying a car anytime. Actually, I am thinking more and more about buying a car, but nothing today.
Yeah.
What would you say, Jimmy? You waiting or you moving?
We keep thinking that prices are going to go down, and we've been saying that, I don't know, for like 2 years now, and the one thing that hasn't happened is that prices haven't gone down.
Prices have gone down a little bit.
Not substantially. Not
relative to how much they went up. Yeah.
Yes. So it's a double-edged sword. If people stop buying cars,
which interest rates will stop them from buying cars.
But if people just make a conscious decision not to buy cars, especially those who just want a car and don't need a car, and the number of people wandering in the dealerships drops dramatically, well, the thing that will follow when that happens is prices will drop.
Yep.
I don't see the vast majority of people staying away from that. So
tell the Fed that, man. The Fed's determined. I agree with Brandon on this one, Dad. They have gone down, just not as much as anyone has wanted. And I think they will continue to go down. And it'll still be the same comments a year from now. But the MSRPs went up by 45%, and they've gone down by 20%.
And they'll probably go up again next year.
It totally will. That's how this works.
So it's almost as if you find something you like at a price or a payment that is comfortable for you, and you want to pull the trigger. Are you going to be disappointed 6 months from now that you did it because suddenly the prices dropped and you think to yourself, "Oh, I wish I would have waited"?
Only if you buy a Tesla, because those prices.
Well, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I would like to think that the prices have to go down. We just haven't really seen it happen in the way we thought it would.
Pops from Smells Fishy, which is a perfect username for this question. Hello, Ranzak. What are your thoughts on CarShield? So here's the deal.
Yes.
Extended warranties, vehicle service contracts, typically called extended warranties, they are fishy. They are very, very, very fishy. When you see paid actors and celebrities talking about, things, always have your eyes.
Yeah, like Ice Cube's really
we
worried
have,
about having an extended
we have
warranty on his car.
back on CarEdge.com/warranty, where actually the $100 off ends, I think on the 4th. Yeah. We sell these products not because we're necessarily like those other brands that we don't necessarily love. We sell them because we've actually vetted partners because they can be good.
Yes.
But you need to know how much money the provider is making. We make $600. Okay. So let's run one of these really quick. Man, the internet really is slow. Here we go. We'll do one for a Ford.
We're going back to Xfinity.
It's a shame. Yeah. It would have been nice if this worked. Well, let's try it with your Ethernet.
Yeah.
You need to know what you're actually getting into. And what I mean by that is how much profit are they making? Is it a reasonable price? Oh, man, dude. Wow. Ford F-150 contracts went up like crazy, man. So this cost us $330 or $3,000, $300 wholesale. There's the markup. Then you need to actually understand what's covered. And yeah, these graphics are cool and everything. Read the contract. So with CarShield, read the contract.
Yes.
You want to read the contract? It's right here.
Yes.
Right here. So what do we think of CarShield? I don't know. See if you can get the same information from them as the information we just provided you right here. If you can, then great. Think about it. If you can't, then I don't know. Maybe look somewhere else. That would be the recommendation. Pops, let's do one more question here from Kurt. How far can an average dealership drop prices before there is no profit and they will be forced out of business? We didn't talk about this tonight, but do you think there's a world where dealers start to get consolidated or go out of business because they simply, they run out of money? Cash flow is a big issue in the industry.
Well, yeah, I mean that can happen in any business if you're not on top of what your expenses are and everything else. Certainly, yes, but I mean, dealerships have been more profitable over the last 2.5, 3 years than they ever have been in their history. So if they put some of that money away, they can go a while.
Yeah, true.
And even if we revert back to what it was pre-pandemic, when the dealer profit margin was 1.5% to 2%, as opposed to the 4% to 5% that it is today. Dealers were getting fat and happy then. So, yeah, even if we revert back to where we were, we'll be fine. Dealers will be fine.
Here we go from Paul, Dad. I read the contract. Nothing surprising in there or gotcha in there, but you got to read it, folks. It's very educational. I love that. That makes me so happy to see it. Let's go here from Jeff, and then we had a contribution come in. Jeff says, Canadian import and trucks, keep away?
You want to make sure that they'll honor the warranty in this country.
Yeah, and a lot of the OEMs will not. Let's say it's a new car, relatively new car, so like 2 or 3 years old, and it's still under the factory warranty. The moment you move it into a new country, the warranty's void. So just make sure. In many cases, yeah. I remember helping a customer with a Ram, and that was the case. Plus, we have from Joseph.
Thank you, Joseph.
Appreciate the contribution.
Yes,
Joseph. There's super stickers, so we're not going to get any dancing. Here we go. This is from Scott in Tampa. I'm very curious if car dealerships like CarEdge and what they do, or do they see CarEdge as a threat for their business? Both.
Yes.
100% both. I need to actually put up a page on our website. We get, and for those of you who are dealers that watch this, my email is Zach, Z-A-C-H at CarEdge.com. If you despise us and you want us to not advertise your inventory or do anything, you email me and we can take it down. I need to create the web page for there's probably about a dozen dealers who have threatened us and said,
The Dirty Dozen?
I'm not saying they're dirty. I'm not saying anything.
It's a great movie.
It's a great movie. I'm not saying anything about their business.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is there are groups of dealers out there who have come to us and said, never put our name on your website, in your mouth, or anything. And then there are dealers that say, how the heck do we align with you guys? Teach us how to sell cars. Show us how to do it. And we're like, okay, we like you. I think there's more of those dealers than there are the others that, get upset.
Yeah,
you look good. The blue with the orange behind.
Yeah. No, that's a great color palette tonight.
From Dad, let me pull
Yeah.
this up on the screen. Do you think that the prices of used cars will go up a little or continue to go down?
I'm of the opinion that they will go up a little.
You really think so?
I really do.
How the heck do you think they'll go
Because
up a
there's a shortage of quality used cars. There's still that shortage. Okay. I happen to be with Jonathan Smoke on this one. Okay. Where
he's the chief economist at Cox Automotive.
Yes. Where he believes that wholesale values will stabilize and they will rebound, and that used car prices are set to go back up again. And I would not be surprised if that were the case, because the shortage of quality pre-owned cars, those are always going to remain expensive.
From Anya, and yes, that I will hit that next question after this. Friends and family event, is it true or a tactic? Sales events are tactics.
They are.
Sales events are tactics.
Yeah.
Our sales event's not a tactic.
No.
I just want to let everyone know there will be a food truck.
Yeah.
And yours truly paid for the food truck. So even if you're not going to buy a car, show up and hang out with us on August 12th in Staten Island, New York. You get a free lunch. People
are very concerned. Well, this is so disingenuous of CarEdge. How much are you collecting from the dealer to do this? I'll help you with that. Everything inside this circle.
Now, long term, it cannot be zero, because we're going to end up. I was running the numbers down. It's going to be about $20,000 that we're investing in our first ever CarEdge sales event.
And why are we doing that? To prove
the point
that you can
be honest and fair
and transparent and sell more cars. And
imagine going to a dealer and they say we make $600 on our extended warranty. Like, that's where we're trying to get
prove
folks.
it to you.
And prove it to you. Yeah. Like, that's what we're trying to get to. And you know what? You can call us disingenuous, but our bank account suggests otherwise.
Yes.
From Juan, Dad. Who wins the boxing match tonight, Spence or Crawford?
I really don't know, but I will tell you who will be watching it, because I signed up for it about 2 hours ago, and I believe the prelims start shortly. So I'll be pulling it up on my pay-per-view here when we're done with the show.
Absolutely.
Looking forward to watching it on my 65-inch TV.
I wish I could maybe I will turn the camera before we sign off so everyone can see the beautiful TV.
Yeah, for the beautiful man.
For the beautiful man.
Every beautiful man deserves a beautiful TV.
It's you who should be paying you. It's you who should be paying you $20,000 for doing this sales event, not spending money. No, I agree. I think long term, the business model is to not have to spend this much money. But you know what? To prove a point, we're gonna have so much fun. I'll pull it up on my phone. We just got the banners printed the other day.
Yes.
Dad, I'm so excited. I mean, you guys are watching like a real life, us just figure it out on the fly. We got these massive banners printed. It'll be hard to focus. There you go.
Yes. CarEdge sales event.
That's going to be on the front of the dealership.
Yeah.
The local news is going to be there. I didn't tell you that. Did I tell you that? No, I got the local news involved.
Wow.
Yeah, they're going to be running a story about us doing this event at this dealership. No, I mean, it's going to be really cool. It's going to set the tone. We've actually already had, I don't know if I should mention this, but you know my style. We've already had competitive dealerships in that area reach out to us saying, how do we do one? And you know what's great about this?
Yeah.
That competition is going to breed better prices and better experiences for the people in that community.
Exactly.
I was blown away that we've already had dealers in that area saying, how do we do what you're doing with Island Auto at their dealerships? How do we do it with you guys? We've received phone calls and emails already about that.
Wow.
Talk about forcing the industry to operate better. We're doing it.
Forcing dealers to take their heads out of their ass and move into the 21st century. Go figure.
Oh man,
yeah,
you're funny.
I'm not, people say, well, you took advantage of customers for 40 years. Not really. In my 40 years in the business, I did whatever little bit I could to try and move the industry along and take it out of the dark ages and move it into the light and tried to make it easy, especially the longer I was in the business, because you know what?
You stopped caring as much.
Well, it was, you work 12, 13, 14-hour days. I mean, at a certain point you go, I don't want this to be hard. I don't want it to be hard for the customer because I don't want it to be hard for me anymore.
Yeah.
Here's the
I just want to go home.
Here's the damn invoice. I'm making you a partner in the business. What do you think a fair return on your investment should be? And don't say 0. Okay. And then there's here.
What was your last day at work like? Did you just not care anymore? Were you just like, I don't want you to say anything that puts yourself in a bad light, but like your last day at work, were you just like giving cars away?
No, I was my normal. I will tell you, my last day when I was at the mini store, when I left to go run a Mercedes dealership for 56 days, and there was confusion on the last deal. And it's like 9 o'clock, and I've been there all day, and but I went in, I talked to the customers, I straightened the whole thing out, we figured out how to make it all work. I shook their hands and I said, "Hey, by the way, I'm done. This was my last day. You're my last deal." If you're a professional, you do your job to the bitter end, and then you go home. And then you call them back and go, I think I made a mistake. I don't think I should have left. This Mercedes-Benz store is not for me.
Yeah, you definitely realize that. We've got from Takers 610. Saturn tried no haggle, but failed bad product.
They did fail because of bad product. That's exactly why they failed. And part of it has to be you have to produce something that the public wants to buy. There was any number of people who were enamored with that concept of how dealerships should be run. But take a look at, I don't know, how many brands do you want to rattle off that General Motors had that don't exist anymore? Oldsmobile, Pontiac, Saturn. I mean, and vehicles that they made that were you have to, bad product can destroy a great idea.
You've got to also imagine that some of the incumbent players in the space didn't really want to see Saturn exist because that would have ushered in change within the industry. That
when Saturn said they were going to be done, Mr. Penske looked at the possibility of taking it over.
Wow.
And continuing to develop vehicles and try and figure out, but then he realized it just
Let's talk a little bit about this, Dad. I don't know did you see this news? Tesla selling on tribal lands to avoid state dealer laws. This is in Connecticut, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, it's they're sovereign nations. So when we lived in Arizona, I mean, you saw that all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty. I mean, that's one loophole.
There's a way to, smart business people always find the loopholes in everything.
There's money talks. That doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where you're from. Money talks.
Yeah. So there's a way for you to get your Tesla in a state where you're not allowed to, where Tesla's not allowed to sell cars. But you know what? The tribal nation is a sovereign nation, and their rules supersede the state's rules.
Yeah, I wonder what their cut is per Tesla sold. Felix wants to know, will you partner up with other Staten Island dealerships? We will partner up with dealerships nationwide. The whole idea here is to have exclusive partnerships with trusted CarEdge dealers all across the country. Ultimately, at the end of the day, it'll probably be a couple hundred of them if we do this right, so that anywhere in the United States you can go and you can go to a dealership that is powered by CarEdge, which means there is someone from CarEdge that literally works there. So someone from CarEdge that does not work for the dealership and is there to represent you and be with you, as well as pre-negotiated pricing, in and out in 60 minutes, no fees, no add-ons, none of that stuff. That is the goal. That's what we're working towards for those of you who are interested. Staten Island and the event that we're doing on August 12th, the reason it is so important that goes well, that a lot of people show up and show interest in it, is because that's going to be our proof point to take to dealers in North Carolina and Phoenix, Arizona, and Las Vegas, Nevada, and Oregon, wherever it is. That's
Can we do Las Vegas in like the
December?
spring or December when it's flipping cold here?
Exactly. That's the
Of course,
goal.
We'll miss that flight. Those flights will be canceled due to snow. Oh, Lord.
We've missed a lot of flights recently.
Yes.
All right. Well, here you go, folks. Let's end on this note, which is back at CarEdge.com. That's where all of the various resources, tools, we've been doing this for 3 years now, guys, and it still feels like we're in the first inning of a game that's going to go to extras. But there's all sorts of information back at CarEdge.com. A lot of the free stuff under resources here, the community, deal school, dealer reviews, guides, data, your favorite CarEdge merch. We've got the consultation calls, our CarEdge data package, give you all the information you need to negotiate the best price. Our CarEdge coach, work with our team. The warranty products, auto, home, and renter's insurance, the CarEdge report, black book valuations, our out-the-door price calculator, which is awesome. If you're going to sell a car, get all the quotes in one place. If you're going to look to buy cars, use our car search. And you got all these smiling faces. I think we have them down here. We got Mario and Ashley and Phil. The team is growing because there's so many people that are working with us. We're going to be 31 people working on CarEdge on Tuesday next week. On August 1st, 31 people. Wow. That's incredible.
That is.
This started as 2?
Well, maybe 3.
3?
Yeah.
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 All right. And now there's 31 of us.
Wow.
And that's all because of the community here. That's all because of the fact that, folks are spreading the word. So thank you. Sean's been with us since March of 2020. That's right when we started. I know. I will.
Somebody wants to see.
I will. I got you.
Okay. We don't. We're here to please. We don't want to disappoint anybody. We try.
31 people.
Yeah, that's a lot of people. That's a lot of growth, and we spend a lot of money in order to be able to do that. And so, yeah, it takes money to be able to do that. Well, there it is, ladies and gentlemen. That's the 65-inch Sony with the Sony surround sound system that I
ask the folks. Ask them if they want a quick tour of your bedroom.
I'm not getting a tour of my bedroom. I don't need to go into my bedroom.
Can I show them the kitchen?
Oh yeah, sure. Show them the kitchen. You might want to turn the lights on. Yeah.
So you guys stay there for the
audio. No, and then you got to turn on those lights as well.
But keep doing the audio from there.
Yeah, no, I'll do the audio from here. Yeah, you can show them, but they don't need to go to my bedroom.
All right.
Not that my bedroom's a mess or anything. It's not, but they don't need to go there. So this is one of my favorite pieces of art that's hanging on the wall. Yeah, that's the remodeled kitchen. And to the left of that was an area that was unused. It was just a plain wall with a floating shelf and 2 bar stools. Made no sense to me at all. So I developed an office area and a bar area and additional storage for my condo here. And yeah. So there, that's the kitchen, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. Anybody interested in the place? Money talks, BS walks. Make me a cash offer. We'll see what we can do.
All right, gang. Everyone have a fantastic. Oh my gosh, Gabe's Gun says my CarEdge warranty quote 60-month, 125 miles was $10,000 on a 2017 Ford. Oh man. That sounds.
That should tell you what's about to go wrong with your Ford.
Yeah, sorry, man. We make $600, so it's not us marking it up.
Yeah.
Folks want to know what you pay for rent. I'm pretty sure you bought this place.
I don't pay any rent. I
bought it.
Yeah, I've had this place. It'll be 6 years in November.
His Mini Cooper is on the counter. It also makes toast. The Mini Cooper was actually a gift. You have a Mini Cooper. You actually do. I don't know where it is. Melissa gave it to one of our community members. Okay, let's call it a night.
Okay. Let's go to Saturday night. I got fights to watch, buddy. I paid for them. I want to watch the damn things.
We'll be back on Monday over on the Ray and Zach channel. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Also, I got a haircut, and I really like it.
Yeah, no, I
think he did a great job.
I think he did it. He blended it nicely. He didn't just do the fade. He trimmed up your beard. And
how's it smell?
I don't care how it smells. But here's the really good news, ladies and gentlemen. Here's the really good news. He got the haircut Dad had to pay for.
Oh my gosh, it was so funny. It's so. Well, I thought it was funny.
Yeah, of course. You thought it was funny.
So we're hanging out, we're doing some stuff, and then we go to get my haircut. And it's a cash-only place. I didn't have any cash. And so my dad paid for it.
Yeah. And
I thanked him.
You're going to pay me back.
No. Do you want me to pay you back?
It's your haircut.
Does it? All right, I'll pay you.
No, you don't have to pay me back.
Our other channel, just search Ray and Zach.
God.
Here, let's just see. Let's see if it works on Google, Ray and Zach. If you just Google search, let me share my screen really quickly. If you just Google search Ray and Zach, it should pop right up. Ray and Zach right there. And then this is an interview we did with Fox 5 in our area, which was really awesome.
In the DC area.
Yeah. Yeah. So just
which is your area, not my area anymore.
Yeah. So just Google search Ray and Zach and it should pop up right there. And drum roll, please. Yeah, this is our channel. We're about to hit 50,000 subscribers to our daily show, which is
pretty
awesome.
amazing.
Yeah,
and we're about to hit 354,000.
Wow.
Unless we've hit it already tonight.
So thank you everyone for being a part of our last question, and then we're out of here. Which one is Ray and who is Zach? I'm Ray. He's Zach. Good night, everyone. We'll see you on Monday.
Liar, liar, pants.